Day 21 of the 40-day soul fast by Dr. Cindy Trims. Today's chapter focuses on the power of embracing. I would like to start today's video with a question that she has asked in the book. Aside from what you do, the roles that you play, the family that you grew up in, who are you? Then she makes a statement here saying, for those of us living in a Western culture, this can seem elusive. Our identity is largely defined by what we do. When you're asked to introduce yourself, you might go beyond what you do for a living to talk about where you are from, where you went to school, your family, the roles you play in various relationships, whether you're a spouse, parent, or other type of caregiver, or involved in a church or other organizations or volunteer in your community. She says you may even name drop to elevate your status in the conversation. As I was reading the book this morning, there was another line that stood out so much to me this morning, and it states, he who trims himself to suit everyone will soon whittle himself away. He who trims himself to suit everyone will soon whittle himself away. One thing I've noticed in this self-development journey is that when you're interested in bettering yourself, sometimes you may fall into the trap of thinking that you have to take in every constructive feedback. Yes, some constructive feedback are good for you and your development, but you also need to understand that sometimes it can be a projection of people's insecurities. So you have to be able to discern, and this is where knowing who you are truly, and also being able to be honest with yourself so that when true constructive feedback comes back, you can identify that actually this is an area that I struggle in. Because when you're in a place of self-deception, you lie to yourself. You say, oh no, but I can do all things. I'm the best at it. No, it's good to say these things to encourage yourself, because the more you say it, the more you believe, the more your actions follow, right? But at the same time, you have to be realistic and be honest with yourself. So when someone's giving you constructive feedback, you have to know, okay, let's be real, as much as this truth might hurt, maybe Ngozi, you're like this. Maybe this is really how you act, in certain situations. And I think I've said this previously. Self-deception is one of the worst. But at the same time, in the midst of all of this, there are some times that people would give you constructive feedback strongly because of their own insecurities. It has nothing to do with you. Imagine receiving constructive feedback from different people, right? And if you don't know yourself and you're out here receiving different feedback from people about yourself, that's what she's saying in this book. It says that if you're trying to suit everyone, because remember, you can't make everyone in life happy. Some people are going to be happy with you and some people are not. And that's okay. We keep it moving. I guess as long as we're treating people with kindness, with politeness, respect, that's the most important thing. Sometimes you can show people these things, be respectful to them, be kind to them. There are just some people that the enemy is inside of them and they have been called to come after you. They've been called to not like you. And that's okay. Sometimes people don't like you for any reason, and that's fine. Be comfortable with that. She says here, you begin sleepwalking through life, living vicariously through your children, the lives of people in books or shows on television, or famous people in the society or sports. As one author puts it, your life becomes deadly safe. And this is profound. Actually, I was listening to a podcast this morning and an audio of famous motivational speaker, public speaker, Jim Rohn. He made a statement and he said, do not accept everyone's philosophy. Just because someone has said something does not make it right. Because your favorite actor, because your favorite preacher said something does not mean that he's speaking the truth of God. Does not mean that he's speaking from the Spirit of God. So this is why discernment is so important. And I feel like this is why the book started off with, who are you? Who are you at your core? And if you remember, I've said this previously, you are God's image. You are made in God's image. On the core, on the inside of you, your natural state is the God state. But now the question is, how do you tap into it? Now that's another Topic for another day. That's not why I'm here. Personally, I am God's masterpiece, although I can also be a work in progress. That's who I am at my core, and that's who you are too. When you look at the life of David, this was exactly how David's life was. David was a masterpiece. He's a sweet, perfect example of a masterpiece, and how the Lord worked in him continuously in the words, in the book of Samuel. There's something she said here that's so profound. She said, it's impossible to live for very long in opposition to the way you see yourself. Positively or negatively, sooner or later, the thoughts and images in your mind will manifest themselves in how you live. And I couldn't agree more. The moment you start working on self-concept, begin to expect that things will come your way to challenge that new mindset. Thank you so much for tuning in to day 21, and I will see you in day 22.